Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Confessional. My name is Katy Hunt, and I'm here to guide you through the good, the bad, and the ugly of the convention world. And here this month, right before his birthday, well, it's after his birthday now, but like before his birthday is Doug! Doug's back! Hi, Doug!
Hey, everybody. Hey, Katy.
Happy birthday late, Doug, but not late, because I'm technically early, but when this episode airs, it's late.
Perfect.
It's my catch-22. It's like, so close, but not close. But no one will ever know, except that I've outed myself.
It's my birthday week. We can celebrate the whole week.
Right? Fine. It's fine. The whole week is Doug's.
Yep.
No one can take it from him.
There we go.
First of all, I'm excited Doug is here. One, because I didn't have a guest and I was upset, and Doug is a hero, so I just want that to go on record. And two, I'm excited because we're finally talking Star Wars conventions, Doug.
Yes, we are.
Star Wars!
Star Wars and conventions. Yeah, two things I do a bunch of.
Yeah, right. If there's two things that Doug knows, it's Star Wars and conventions. And we're all out of conventions.
Well, trust me, I've got some here too.
Yeah. All right. Well, first of all, for the masses, I think we've mentioned it before. You're part of the 501st.
Yep. So I will give a little bit of background there just for everybody.
Sure.
Well, the 501st Legion is kind of a global organization for bad guy Star Wars costumes. Mm-hmm. We dress up as antagonists. So we have the okay from Lucasfilm Limited. I'll use the term LFL a lot. And we are their kind of preferred costume organization. Mm-hmm. But we do not get paid by them.
Nope.
All our stuff is charity stuff. And again, I want to emphasize we are the antagonist stuff. Kind of our slogan is the bad guys doing good. Mm-hmm. So stuff like Darth Vader, Darth Maul, the Stormtroopers, the Biker Scouts, which are the best costumes.
You're not biased or anything.
No, not at all. The Snowtroopers, things like that. But if there's people that do heroic, like Luke Skywalker and stuff, there is another group called the Rebel Legion, which is the heroic stuff like that. And especially nowadays, those lines get blurrier and blurrier because it's this character is in the 501st Legion, the story, like a clone trooper in the cartoon. So he's a good guy. But then you see him in the Revenge of the Sith. Oh, but now he's shooting a Jedi. Is he a good guy? He's a bad guy. And so it's sometimes these costumes belong to more than one Legion. There's another group called the Mandalorian Mercs Costume Club, which is people that make custom Mandalorians, or they can actually do canonic Mandalorians as well. So if you have Sabine Wren from Rebels, Din Djarin from The Mandalorian, things like that, you can be a member of those costume clubs too. Uh-huh. So I'll also just kind of say I will throw out some opinions here. Opinions are my own here. I'm not going to be talking opinions representing the groups. That is just how we get that out of the way because I'm one person. But the 501st is what I'm only a member of. Locally, I am part of the New England Garrison. The groups are made up of local garrisons or in the Rebel Legion bases. And sometimes there's also outposts if it's a very, very small contingent of people. There is actually an outpost on Antarctica of a couple people. So we have people on every continent.
That's awesome.
So things like that. The best way I've heard it described is if you think of a fraternity or a sorority, you have, everyone's, part of this fraternity, but then you have your local chapter or the Lions Club or things like that.
Or an MLM.
Yeah, exactly.
This is your pyramid scheme, Doug.
I do feel like when I'm working on costumes, sometimes I'm losing all my money, but that's besides the point. But so locally, I will say that the 501st Legion, so the New England Garrison, and our local Rebel Legion base, Alderaan base, and our local Mandalorian Mercs clan, Faraxon clan, we all play together nicely. Some areas you don't see them interact with each other. Mm-hmm. We are very close knit. A lot of people are in both or multiple groups. because we kind of said, you know what? A lot of people don't want to see Darth Vader or Chewbacca. They want to see Darth Vader and Chewbacca.
Okay, but people that say they don't want to see Chewbacca are like wrong. So
Yeah,
there.
exactly. So
You know how I feel about Wookiees.
if you make a if you make, I'll just say, not even if you make a Chewbacca costume, if you make a Wookiee costume or even a Wampa, because you're a giant fuzzy thing, you have to like hugging people.
Right.
You have to like getting hugs. Just be prepared for that.
It's the rules. I don't make them.
Yeah. So
I mean, honestly, right now, spoilers if you haven't seen Boba Fett, but if anybody made a certain Wookiee costume as evil as he seems to be, I'd hug the shit out of him.
if I had the money, the skill, the patience, and the room to store it, I would make that or a Wampa in a heartbeat.
Oh my god, I just
So
it's bad. It's like white girls with puppies. I'm the same way with Wookiees. I'm literally just like, oh, it's a Wookiee. And then I trollop off to it. It's like, Katie, no. Katie, Wookiees, but no, it'll rip your arm up. I don't care. I love him.
So my 501st journey actually starts through an anime convention. A very ill-fated anime convention.
Oh no. Are there any others?
Hey, there's some pretty successful ones, but there was the 1 year of Providence Anime Conference.
I've never even heard of it.
It was an attempted spin-off from Anime Boston of a 21 plus convention, kind of and they were thinking make it more academic. They wasn't sure, and it never really caught on. Didn't get the numbers they were hoping. I think my title was director of membership, so basically registration and stuff like that. Okay. And there was another person on staff who was pretty involved, who was a member of the 501st, and I had heard of them a little bit because I'd played Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original one for PlayStation 2.
Okay.
And I thought, oh, that's cool. They integrated the name. I didn't know that the game actually brought them in because of the costuming group.
Oh.
And so that was 2008. So I had heard about them, but it's like, I'm still kind of fresh out of college, still, and this was during the recession, so I was out of work and everything. But I was like, okay, that's kind of neat. It was something, and it's like, well, I don't know. I'll think about it maybe someday. And then 2011, my first year that I went to Dragon Con with our group of shared friends.
The gang.
Yeah. Such as Elizabeth and Patrick and those guys. And, first off, Dragon Con's a con you have to do at least twice because the first year is always sensory overload. But it's also it's a con that the 501st gets a lot of people to come because they have people from everywhere. And Dragon Con has a parade, like in downtown Atlanta and everything, and it's cool. And one of the things about the 501st is they have very high costume standards because they want to look like they stepped right out of the TV screen or the movie screen, and have as accurate as possible. Right. And they're in the parade. Like the joke used to be that Darth Vader was to the Dragon Con parade what Santa was to the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade. It was the grand finale, the last thing you saw.
But it's ridiculous. Like the footage of the guys like in the parade, it's like half the parade. It's awesome. It's so cool.
It's a great excuse to kind of have everyone come together from different groups and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I saw the costumes, and I saw the scout troopers, the biker scouts, which I have always loved the design of that trooper. My older brother had one of the old Kenner toys, like the original ones, and it's one I always played with and stuff like that. And I always thought it was cool. And then I saw a bunch of biker scouts in person, and I've been around. I hadn't done a whole lot of cosplay at that point. I just kind of, I wouldn't say dipped my toe in. Maybe I got like a whole leg in. It was like, I want to make one. I like it. I don't want to just see the action figure. I want to be the action figure.
I want it.
Yeah. And so I started doing my research, started saving up my money, started ordering parts, and got involved with the local chapter, the New England Garrison.
Mhm.
And one of the things they encourage is what they call wrangling, which is someone out of costume to help the costume people like see where they're going and things like that, make sure the crowd doesn't get too rowdy and stuff like that.
Right.
Well, I had pre-ordered my stuff because the last little push to get some of the parts I needed before I started working on it was my tax refund, which was February that year.
Mhm.
And I started getting parts and like early March and stuff. And they said, we've got stuff. So I was like, okay, I'll come to an event. What's an event that I can get to? Because at that point I didn't have a car. Oh, they're going to be at the South Boston St. Patrick's Day parade. So I'm gonna help wrangle them. Yeah, I didn't start halfway there. And it was nice to put a bunch of faces to the names that I saw on their forums, which is a really good way to talk to people how to build the costume and share tips and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And they don't the New England Garrison doesn't do the South Boston parade anymore. A lot of it came down to just became unsafe because a lot of people are drinking, and there's also often snow banks, like so people are spilling out in the street because they can't stay on the sidewalks and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Mhm. Mhm.
But you would go through that parade, and you're in South Boston, so you're hearing people shouting. And like I know this because I was kind of the caboose, wrangling as the caboose of the group. Hey,
Mhm.
Darth Vader, Darth Vader, Darth Vader. Hey, mom, I'm gonna go selfie with Darth Vader and stuff like that.
Oh my god, it's true.
So, but it's you see what it takes to get into these costumes because you're helping other people get into theirs.
Mhm.
And there's been like, oh, hey, you're building this costume. Oh, I've got so and so's got one. Hey, Bob. Hey, Eric. Hey, you've got one of those costumes. Can you show them what the stuff you do? Because sometimes you just need to see it in person. Like, oh, this is how this works.
Mhm.
It's a great way to do it. So that's kind of where I joined up. So I was working on it, working on it, working on it. I will admit I commissioned some people for some of the sewing parts because the biker scout has kind of a soft torso, like they call it the cummerbund, like almost like a tuxedo.
Mhm.
It's on me like a girdle with Velcro in the back.
Right, right, sure.
So we did that. I commissioned that and I got it ready. And I was all set, like, okay, I'm going to take my pictures, submit it for approval. I'll have it in time for Dragon Con. I can bring it down to Dragon Con and be approved and meet everyone and stuff like that. I forgot that year, or didn't realize that year, Star Wars Celebration, which is the Star Wars convention,
Right, it's
was
the
the week,
convention.
was the weekend before Dragon Con.
Oh
So,
boy.
so people like doing costume approvals and getting everyone in the 501st, new member of the 501st, what we call a TKID, was basically busy one of those two, if not one of those weeks, both of those weeks.
Oh boy.
So I should explain that the TKID, so every person in the group has their own unique number.
Mhm.
Um, so like I am TB-15000, and that TB indicates what costume I am. Like that's Biker Scout.
Mhm.
My 15,000 number never changes. But if I say wear my snowtrooper, which is appropriate now because we just had that blizzard,
Right.
that is TS 1000 15,000.
So it's like
So
trooper snow, trooper bike.
yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
it was originally, TK-421. Why aren't you at your post? That's why all the stormtroopers are TK.
Right.
And so it started off when the organization started. It's like, oh, everyone's just 3 digits, and then the group grew, so they needed 4 digits. I have the distinction of within the New England Garrison, I was the first 5 digit person.
Wow.
So that's like, and it's one of those, and like it was really nice because everyone wasn't like, oh, why are all these people invading our club? It's like, hey, cool, we've grown this big.
Right. You've also got your own trading card, don't you?
That's well, we do merchandise runs and stuff like that. So, like when we do that, it's all at cost. Like no one makes money off of it other than the people producing the product.
Right.
So I like someone designed that and things like that, and I paid for it and stuff. It wasn't like they were just given to me.
Yeah, but
But
you have your own trading card.
yeah, which is something a lot of people do. But I was so I went to Dragon Con and I walked. Basically, I was like, well, I can't get approved, so I was like, but I basically put on my outfit. like wandered around and got some nice things. And I went to the 501st table at Dragon Con. I'm like, all right, here's the situation. I'm not approved yet. Here, I've had an application. I've been in touch with these people. Would it be okay to join the parade? And the guy was, in hindsight, the guy there was no going to be good way to, it was like, I'm not comfortable because I'm not the organizer of the event. I'm just filling a table shift for the local garrison, helping out.
Yeah.
It's not fair to make that call. And I don't want to be put in that situation for either of us. And it's like, okay, no harm done. I'll come back next year. So I got to do some events and stuff like that throughout the year. My first one was just a library blood drive because the 501st is a not-for-profit organization, so we're doing a lot of community service events.
Right.
So I did like that, but there are times we get asked to invited to stuff. So literally, my second troop was being on stage with Weird Al Yankovic when he performed Yoda and The Saga Begins.
It's so cool.
But the way costumes worked out, because they like to kind of have symmetry on the stage, I had to borrow someone else's TIE fighter costume. So a very generous member of our group, my friend Eric, who at that point was just kind of like an acquaintance, he's like, well, you're basically my size. If we don't do this, we can't have anybody do Weird Al. If you can get to my work in the heart of Boston, at this area, and pick up my kit box and bring it back in one piece, I'll loan it to you so we can do this event, so you can have an awesome experience and we can do a Weird Al event. And I'm like, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm carrying it, and it's like one of those just kind of like Foot Locker totes, like Rubbermaid. Yep. And it's a long walk to the T, and then a longer walk from the T when I get off to my apartment at the time. And then, the day of and stuff like that. So that handle is wearing off, and it's starting to rip off the box. And I'm like, oh my God, this guy loved me as a kid, and I'm going to be so mad because I broke his kit box, and I'm going to go to Home Depot right now, buy him a brand new kit box and apologize and everything. It's going to be the worst thing ever. Oh my God. He was just like, why is there a new kit box? Because the old one broke. Why is there a new kit box? Because the old one is broken. Why is there a new kit box? You didn't need to do that. It's like, yes, I did.
Yes, I did. Thank you.
Yeah. So, so I've done stuff like that. I did locally we do the Woburn, Massachusetts Lion Club's Halloween parade, which that is always fun because that's Halloween parade. So there's lots of kids there.
Yeah.
And you inevitably see kids dressed up in Star Wars costumes, and it's so fun because you're like, walking in the parade and you spot another, like a kid in a stormtrooper or Darth Vader, and you step out of line and salute them, and that kid's year has been made. So yeah. So did that. And then, so I'm going to fast forward a bit, and then I'm just going to go chronologically or as I think of things. So
sure.
That February, I recall this. The Empire City Garrison, which is just New York, the 5 boroughs of New York, and maybe Long Island, I'm not sure. But basically New York City area.
Okay.
Put out the call saying, hey, anybody that's kind of local-ish, we've got this on like whatever the holiday is, or start of school vacation week in February. We have been invited that Monday to be at the aircraft carrier Intrepid Museum. Anybody that wants to come, just let us know. We'd love to have you. Oh. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, well, wait a minute. I'm going down to KatsuCon. I could do this on the way back. But then I realized, wait, well, I'm flying down to KatsuCon. And I don't know how I'd get there. So basically what I ended up doing is our friends, Rob and Jess, were driving down. So I said, okay, can you take my kit box if I pay for some gas? And they were like, sure, no problem. So they took my kit box from Massachusetts. I flew down. We all met up, did KatsuCon, had a good time. Then I took the train from the Washington, D.C. area up to New York, crashed in a hotel room I got that night. Like a very tiny hotel room. Like, I think I've lived in dorm rooms bigger than this.
Sounds right.
hotel room. But it's what I could afford by myself after doing KatsuCon.
Right, exactly.
Everything was safe, but it was tiny. Um, and then got and did the troop and met some really great people. Some of these people I still follow on Facebook. One of the guys for a little while was the commanding officer of the Empire City Garrison, and this was literally his first troop.
Hmm.
And did that. So, and then I said my goodbyes, and then walked over to drag my kit box. Thankfully, my kit box has wheels. To Port Authority, and got a bus back to Boston. So it was literally planes, trains, and automobiles.
Half kit will travel.
Yep. And I did a couple other things here and there throughout the year. And then so now we're back to the DragonCon 2012. I'm now, or no, 2013.
Mhm.
So my third DragonCon. I'm now an approved member of the 501st. I'm going to do the parade. This is going to be awesome.
Heck yeah.
I think I did a shift at the table. It was really cool. Got to start to meet everyone. But the thing is, when we do parades for 501st at, say, like South Boston, St. Patrick's Day, or the Woburn, we usually have like a staging area and a parking lot, and we kind of turned it into almost tailgating.
Sure,
Like
sure.
a couple people bring like things to share for breakfast, and it's like everyone catching up.
Mhm.
DragonCon, they don't have that. You have to get ready in your hotel room, head over to the staging area, wait around, then do the parade. Which, again, this is Atlanta.
Yeah.
And we're wearing it's a black undersuit with plastic on top of it.
And a cummerbund.
Yeah, the white cummerbund over that. Yep, which is like duck cloth canvas.
Right, right.
So yeah, that's an adventure, and everyone's doing that. And thankfully, a shout out again to Elizabeth, who got up when my alarm went up extra early to help me get into my kit, because I can do a lot of it by myself, but not that cummerbund.
Yeah, no, forget that thing.
Yeah, so thankfully she was very patient and willing to help out, because she is speaking of awesome friends. And so I get there and everything, and the parade is a lot of fun. It's really cool to see it and everything like that. The thing I remember is, I'm 6'2", probably closer to 6'4" when I have my boots on for my scout trooper. Add maybe even a little more when you consider I have the helmet on top of that. So I'm not short. So they kind of said, well, there's 7 scout troopers. We're going to do 2 columns on either side, and then put you, pointing at me, in the middle of them, because that way it'll look nice and stuff like that.
Right.
Now, the thing is, we're Star Wars costumers. Some people may have had military experience or maybe marching band experience, but we are not marching. We're just walking in the parade. This is going to get disorganized no matter how hard you try.
Sure.
So the 2 columns kind of kept going back and forth. One would go in front of me, and then the other one would fall behind me, and then they'd switch and goes zigzagging. So I'm just wait, do I speed up or slow down?
What do I do?
Yeah. And again, so it's hot, and the parade's gone. And I'm pretty warm by the end of it. And I remember getting to the entrance to the Marriott Marquis Hotel, where the parade ends and everything. And I remember there was a Boy Scout troop there, and they're offering everyone that's in parade water. And it's they basically at the 501st got there. It's not oh, hey, Mr. Trooper, would you like a water? It's, you're taking a water.
You have no choice. Drink
this.
this.
Tell me twice. You don't have to tell me twice. And I got it. And I just sat in the air conditioning, in the area for a little while. It was me and another a guy, and I want to say he was in a TIE pilot costume, just leaning on one of those little credenzas in the lobby somewhere, and just exhausted. And some parents see we're halfway in costume, and it's one of those few times that I had to be no photos, please.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And then I kind of collected myself, and then I got back to the hotel room, because we were a little further away at the Sheraton. And I'm taking everything off and putting it on our balcony so we will air out, not in our room.
Right.
And I'm looking at myself, and I see there's a nice indentation from where part of my armor's elastic bands had been for several hours in the heat, with the undersuit, like you saw like the pattern of the wrinkles of the undersuit.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at this, and then I realized I have stopped sweating.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was one of those. Not I'm thirsty. It's I have stopped sweating. So immediately I said to myself, thankfully, okay, any plans I had for the afternoon are now postponed until I take a long, cold shower and a very long, leisurely lunch with lots of water for the drink.
Yeah.
I was fine, but it was one of those. Oh, oh, so that happened.
Oh, oh, maybe I should
When
do something
you,
about this.
when you and Sketch are talking about your adventures in Trigun as Vash, yeah, I've been there.
You know, I, okay, so it wasn't a Vash costume, it was a trooper costume, but like, why do we do this to ourselves?
I mean, again, I'm not a small guy. I'm pretty sure I could be wearing like Borat's slingshot swimsuit as a cosplay, and I'd still be sweating my ass off.
Oh, Doug, thank you for the
Which
image.
visual no one needed, but now you have it. So thank
Good lord.
there you
Good lord.
go. So eventually, so we've done other things. We have done some Make a Wish events, which are always some of the best events you will ever do. For kids going to Disney, we made a
Hmm.
suit of clone trooper armor for one Make a Wish kid. Um, one of the times we did an airport send off for a kid going to Disney, I remember the kid was just so happy, and like the kid, like, because they don't want to make a huge deal of like disrupt the flights and everything, they're like getting on the plane at like 5 in the morning, like not like getting onto the airport, like getting on the plane at 5 in the morning.
Right.
So like this is not long after I got my own car, and I got up extra early to pick up another person doing this trip, and it's like about an hour away from where I live to get to to get to the airport and everything like that. And so we're up at the crack of dawn, and I have to like go work a full day after that. I think it was during the busy season of me for me at work too.
Hmm.
But the thing I will always remember about that is after we get into and I just seen like taking pictures with the kid said, "I can't stop smiling."
No.
And it's like, well, that's why we do this to ourselves.
Hmm.
Like we get paid in smiles and high fives and thank yous.
Well, I mean, you do. Rob and I get paid in like losing circulation in our limbs, and
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, Rob got a DVD player. I mean, you get children that are so thankful for you. Rob got a DVD
Yeah.
player, and I got mac and cheese. So there you go.
There we go.
It's the same
So
thing.
so to bring it back to conventions and sweaty decisions, um,
Uh-huh.
so I did find like I remember seeing people talk about celebration. And I was like, oh, I don't know if I could do a convention all about Star Wars. I really like Star Wars, but like I like going to anime cons where it's a whole bunch of things, not because anime is a medium, not just a genre. There's a bunch of different anime and stuff like that. And then it's like the next one rolled around in Florida, in Orlando. I think I can't remember if that's the Orange County one or if it's the one in California. That's the orange one. It must be the Florida one. Anyway, went to the one in Florida. Um, and we had booked our hotel. First off, we had booked. Thankfully, we had a friend driving down, so it's like, well, he's like, if you chip in $20, I'll drive your kit box because we're all driving down. Kick in $20, I'll drive it down and then bring it back up to Massachusetts, and we'll figure out time for you to come by the house and pick it up. It's like
Hmm.
$20. Here's $50 because you know what? That's still better than having to deal with this at the airport.
Right.
Um, and thankfully, they were really willing to do that and stuff like that. And so we did it, and we had a really good time at Celebration. Like, I think if you're a member of the legions, like either 501st Legion, Rebel Legion, Mando Mercs, Costume Club, there's some other ones that I know I apologize to members because I'm forgetting them. You're gonna make a lot of like instant connections with people. Just really good. It's like kind of everyone coming home. Um, so we did some stuff like there's a lot of people do patches with their local chapter,
Hmm.
and patch trading is a huge thing. and I remember going to that and meeting that up. And I remember we were on our way, like we parked because we were a little bit offside. We parked at the parking garage back to near the convention center and the hotel. Started walking over, and we see this kind of group of like trying to figure out where they're going. Like we are to like where's this hidden ballroom in the back? I was like, well, come on, and it turns out these guys are from the Peruvian garrison. And it's like, well, hey, cool, we'll figure this out together. And then they ended up like becoming instant friends to us. Like, hey, cool, you know. Like the guy's like, hey, here's our local commanding officer. Hey, these guys are from Boston. They were really cool. Because at this point, my girlfriend had joined the Rebel Legion, so she was part of it and everything. And we're having a really good time, and they're introducing us, and then do a bunch of patch trading, which if you're joining the legions, you're going to get into patch trading. It's just the way it happens.
And that would be the coolest part of it. I mean, like I said, like doing the coolest part is all the charity work and stuff. But like as far as like perk kind of thing goes, patch trading, that would be awesome.
It's a really nice community. But we get that, and we run into, as we're leaving, like outside, kind of in the lobby, we see the Peruvian garrison people again, and they kind of are like, one of them's on a cell phone, and one of them like flags us over, and we're like, well, what's up? And apparently they're on the line with their rental car company. And what had happened is their rental car's battery had died.
Oh no.
And they're pretty fluent in English, but like trying to talk to like a phone rep when English isn't their first language, trying to explain what's going on and what they need and answering the questions of the rep, it's just not going well.
Right.
And so Kate, my girlfriend, was like, just like, okay, do you want me to just talk to them and relay everything to you? And, you know, it was like 5 minutes. Oh yeah, their battery died. Okay. They said they asked where you're parked, where you parked. And then, you know, just kind of got everything streamlined and was like, yep, they're coming with a truck and they're going to take care of your battery. Are you guys all set? Okay. Here's our phone number just in case anything else happens. Great. And because that's the best part of the 501st is it's, again, that community of people. You take care of each other.
Yeah.
We do. One of the things we did was they always do like a group photo of everyone in the Legion that wants to get in one of their costumes and stuff like that.
The big one on the stairs, right?
Yeah, they take it on the stairs, and it's reaching a point that it's hard to get that organized because there's so many. The membership has grown a lot with the new movies and everything like that. But we got a great picture, and so, you know, everyone's chanting 501, 501, and then you get stuff like the TIE fighter pilots. We want shields. We want shields. And of course, the scout troopers aren't not to be outdone. No more trees! No more trees! And it's, you know, but it was so much fun. We had an absolute blast, and there is a high res picture of that because they do one with everyone in their costume, and then they do one with we call helmets buckets, so it's buckets off. And it's like, oh, there's me. I'm in that one corner of the scouts, like next to all the TKs and everything else. But so there's stuff like that. We've done a lot of stuff locally, like we've exhibited a booth at Rhode Island Comic Con, Granite State Comic Con.
That's usually where I find you.
Yeah, we have stuff like the trash compactor. We've built some other cool props.
I say that I find you. It's more along the lines of, like, again, and we figured out how I find you now because I know which one you are. But like back in the day when I tried to find you, I'd be like, I'm looking for Doug, but you all have the same outfit on, Doug. And all of a sudden I get this little hand wave.
Well,
I'm like, there's Doug.
Well, it's like, okay, look for the tall one or look for the one with. Well, for the longest time, so scouts have on that cummerbund pouches.
Yes, and yours are not the right color.
Mine are the right color, damn it.
Called out! Called out!
Mine are the screen accurate color.
Because, pardon me.
Because they're technically off-white, unlike the rest of that stuff. Yeah. But it is acceptable for people to have white ones. And when I was making it, I was like, well, I want to be screen accurate. I'll have off-white ones. I didn't know, and we have a fair number of biker scouts in the New England Garrison. I didn't know that most of them had white. Just about everybody had white. So I was like, well, there's Doug. And it has now, the pendulum has shifted. Now, white pouches are in the minority. Like, we've had a lot of new members or people that have upgraded their costume to be off-white.
Oh, yeah. See, now it's harder, but you're the
Yeah,
tallest one, so it's fine.
yeah.
There's Doug. I
And
found
then,
him.
that's always the thing that cracks me up is when people ask, "Well, when are you going to build a Vader or something?" And I just say, "When are you going to pay for
Yeah.
it?" So, and it's just I don't have
Yeah.
any attachment to that costume, but
Or the real question is, Patrick, Robert, what are you gonna join?
we can call out Patrick and Elizabeth if we're going to do that because we talked about merch and stuff like we do T-shirts, we've done hockey jerseys and stuff, and
Yeah.
I told both of them years ago because they both said, "Oh, I'm going to do it someday." If whichever one of them finishes the costume first and gets it approved in any of the legions,
Mm-hmm.
gets approved first, I will pay for their first merchandise, like whatever
Hello.
they. It's been several years.
You've been called out.
Yep, I'll bring that back. But I do want to say, we talk about height and stuff like that. We really don't care if you're like me, 6'2", if you're 4'11", whatever. We don't care about stuff like that. Male, female. However, we want you to make an awesome. We want to have you make an awesome screen accurate costume and do good charity work. If you can do that, and you're over 18, we want to have you.
Yeah.
So, because there's all sorts of different people, and like that was one of the nicest things seen in Force Awakens with both Phasma, Captain Phasma, and another just generic stormtrooper. They had female voices, so it's like, see, girls can be stormtroopers too if they want to.
Yeah. Also,
Um,
actually, since we're talking about the 501st, your cool little you won something, right?
I,
You like won or like you got voted to go to.
oh well, so this happened because of a convention. So
Yeah.
this is um so within the 501st Legion, so the whole worldwide organization, people can be nominated for Trooper of the Month. Like this person did some really good stuff. We want to recognize them as the Legion Trooper of the Month. This person did stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and I had been nominated, which was like flattering to just know. It was like it was just I'd done a lot of hard work apparently in the eyes of the person who nominated me.
Mm-hmm.
To this day, I don't know who it is.
Really?
Nope, they have asked to remain anonymous, and I will respect those wishes.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. If they want to tell me someday, they are welcome to. But it is as long as I look at it, they've asked to remain anonymous. I'll honor that.
Sure.
And so, I think I want to say it was for October or November. It must have been October. And I got nominated. I did not win because the person that won was in their kit and administered to the Heimlich maneuver that to someone that was choking and saved their life.
Oh crap.
So I'm okay not winning to the losing to that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't think much. I was like, that's nice. And I'm at Anime NYC with a couple friends. Um, I'm with Zan of the Spirakin podcast, Tom Asnable, and Pat's Prime from the Cockpit podcast and stuff. So just a good core group of friends. And I'm meeting Zan's at the time girlfriend for the first time, now his wife.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, okay, we're all gonna go out to eat and stuff like that. And my phone buzzes and I'm like, oh, I got an email. It's from the Legion events coordinator. And it's saying, hey, anybody that has been, to you guys have been, this is to anyone who has been nominated for Trooper of the Month in the last year. Let's see if I can actually stand by. I want to see if I can find the text of this.
Standing by. Da, 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 da,
All
da,
right, let's see.
da, da,
I'm
da,
pulling up my phone
da,
now because this
da,
is.
da, da, da,
I,
da, da, da.
you don't have to vamp. I'm here.
Ba, 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 da, ba. I'm right here. Ba, da, 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 da.
All right. So let's see. All right. All right. All right, I cannot find this email, unfortunately. Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Ta-da!
Dear Trooper of the Month nominees for 2017, we hope you're sitting down while you're reading this. The 501st has been extended an amazing, once-in-a-lifetime opportunity from Lucasfilm to allow 501st members from all over the USA to attend the red carpet premiere of The Last Jedi. It's taking place in Los Angeles, California on Saturday, December 9th. This invitation includes a spot along the red carpet to view arrivals. Once arrivals are complete, you will be among the first people in the world to see the film and attend the premiere party.
Okay, first of all, wait, I'm gonna stop you because you've already been. This was years ago, and you're still reading this email, and you're so fucking giddy, and so am I.
Yeah. So okay. So the long and short of it is like, well, we can't provide a hotel room or transportation, but as if you can get yourself here and have lodging, you've got a spot.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm reading, and it's like, and they asked, please, this is confidential. You'll probably have to sign an NDA for the time being. Be prepared for that. So don't mention it. Please do not discuss it with anybody.
Yep.
So again, I'm out at a convention with some friends that I don't see in person very often, staring at my phone, like jaw not even on the floor, like several stories down below the floor.
Right.
We were walking in the middle of New York City. I'm reading this email, just stunned, and to the point that like everyone's like, are you okay? Like, did someone in your family die? Like, no, everything's fine.
Everything's fine. This is fine. Everything's fine.
I can't tell you why, but everything's fine. Meanwhile, I'm like texting a friend from Anime Boston staff that I know lives in LA and saying, I can't tell you why. Can I come to your place at the beginning of December for like a couple nights? Ed, I need you to pick me up at the airport.
Don't ask questions. Just come get me.
Yep.
Don't ask questions.
Yep. So yeah, I got to do that, and again, I got to meet some really good friends that way. And so say what you will about The Last Jedi, I don't think it deserves all the their trouble spots fit. I don't think it deserves all the bad rap it gets. But I will say this much: it has a very strong special place in my heart because I got to see the premiere of it.
And you get to and you got to like see people on the red carpet.
Yep. I saw John Boyega. Mark Hamill signed my.
Stop it! Wait! Time out! You didn't tell me you met to Mark Hamill.
I didn't. I won't say met. He just handed my badge. Like, I was in the back row because I was so tall. I didn't want to block everyone else's view. But I was like, Mark was coming by doing autographs, and I'm like, okay, if I'm going to go for anyone, I'm going to go for Mark Hamill, who's my personal favorite person in Star Wars.
It's Luke Skywalker.
And like his I don't know if it was his daughter, his assistant, sees that I'm like reaching over like 5 other people to try and hand my badge, and it's like kind of like, okay, this guy clearly wants it, and he doesn't have any signatures on his badge.
Right.
You gotta.
Yeah, you gotta.
And so thankfully I did. And it's like as soon as we got to the red carpet, they're like, okay, go nuts, share as much as you want. Here's the hashtag, everything like that. And meanwhile, back in New England.
Meanwhile, all of us.
Yeah. So there were supposed to be 2 event troops with 501st people that I was supposed to attend. That all of a sudden I'm like, guys, something came up. I can't go. So again, my girlfriend's at the first one because it was the Saturday that was the premiere. Saturday, it's like, oh, where's Doug? Oh, so he couldn't make it. He had something else, and I had to tell her because obviously I like not keeping my girlfriend in the dark about stuff like this, and I know she's not going to tell because that's like, well, whatever.
Right.
And she didn't know why. I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm going to California.
Bye.
Yeah. So and so she's like, yeah, something come out. And then she's at the next day, she's at the other event. And at this point, the news is broken. And everyone's like, how long have you known? How did you let him go? How did you let him go by one? I believe one person actually asked her, why did you not kill him and wear his skin?
Which I mean is a fair question for Kate.
Yeah.
That's fair. Oh my god.
So I got to do that. So if you look at the red carpet footage, because there's a Star Wars logo on the back of the group's bleachers that we're standing on. It's like if you want to look for Doug, just look by the a-hole. You'll find Doug.
The a-hole. Oh, I love it.
Yeah. But so we got to go to the premiere party. I had a stuffed porg that I had bought. I broke my own rule, which for the longest time my rule was I wasn't going to buy any merchandise from one of the movies or the TV shows until I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, because what if that character turns out to be terrible or something like that?
Right.
Porg is kind of cute, and like I had brought it with me to New York City because the year before I had gotten Kate a stuffed IKEA shark, and I had carried it through Boston because someone handed it off to me, and so I took a bunch of pictures of him all around the Boston. I'm like, well, you know what? Now the Porg's going to have an adventure in New York, and it's like, well, I guess the Porg's coming with me to LA too. Like, I like pictures of him on the plane and stuff, and like on the red carpet, and so, but I'm like carrying this around with me, and a couple people are just like some like people that like are clearly like somebody's connection of a connection, like, oh, my friend's father works for LFL, so I get to do this or something like that. Asking me at the premiere party, where did you get that porg? They gave it away? Nope, I bought this at Target.
No.
You can just see the disappointment that they couldn't get one of their own.
My porg.
So yeah, that was one. It was a really cool thing, and like I still catch up with that, and like every December that rolls around, the Facebook kind of rumbles back to life, and it's like, oh, I miss you guys. Like I had one guy who like helped like give me a lift because he lived he lived in like I'm probably gonna get this wrong, but I'm gonna say New Mexico. So he drove, and like he had his parents' house that he could stay with in LA. Chris, if you're listening to this, I apologize if I'm getting those facts wrong, but like he helped give me a ride to stuff. The day before the premiere, like I went to Disneyland, and he picked me up from Disneyland, so then we could go out to meet up with everyone because we went out to dinner, and then of course went to the Scone and Villainy little bar in LA. Because of course we are. So there's a lot of neat stuff there. I like talking about it, but I also know it can be obnoxious to some people, so I don't broadcast it too much. But it is, if you ever find me at a convention and want to ask more about it, please feel free.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to get into more stories because I have even more 501st stories. So backtracking to Rhode Island Comic Con.
Yeah.
There's a couple people from the Fortress Imperial, which is the garrison in Montreal, that always come down to visit us and everything, and they're a really fun group of people. We always have a good time hanging out with them. Mm-hmm. And they're like, you got to come to Montreal Comic Con. You got to come to Montreal Comic Con. So Kate and I and two of our friends all drove up, it's like a significant drive from the Boston area. Like we're spending a good chunk of a day. But we had a blast at Montreal, got to meet some of that. But of course, it's Montreal and Canada, so half the time people are talking to us in French, and then like, we don't speak French. And like, oh, sorry.
Oh, whoops.
Yeah. But going back to the patch trading, so like they had kind of their annual banquet dinner during Montreal Comic Con because it's one of the few times that a lot of people come and everything, and we'll invite guests. Like when the Legion is at a convention, it's like, oh, we're like getting together for dinner. We're going to extend the guest an invite to some of the VIP, like, hey, this person was in Star Wars. They're a guest of the convention. We'll invite them. They're welcome. We'll pick up their tab. Cool. If they want to come, that we love to have them. If they don't want to come, we're not going to worry about it. Because, you know, they're still human beings. They don't owe us anything.
Sure.
And so, but we're out there. And we're kind of in our own table because we don't know anybody too well except the one person, our friend Guy, who invited us and a couple other people. And no one's really coming up. Like, first he gets like one of those, when I say a rocket of beer, you know, like the tower with like a tap that you bring to the table.
Yeah.
He brought one of those, like, okay, you've got this, like a unique beer. Maybe people will start coming to you and talking to you there. And still not a lot of people are talking because no one knows us and stuff like that. And then another member of the New England Garrison, our friend Terry, who's there, was smart. She and Guy realized that we had brought plenty of patches and stuff to trade. So they started telling, hey, you know, those guys over there, they're from the New England Garrison. They have a bunch of stuff to trade. If you want like New England Garrison patches, you should go talk to them. So we went from the wallflowers to the bells of the ball in like an instant. All of a sudden, everyone wanted to talk to us.
You got stuff. We like stuff.
Yep. So that was a really fun time, and it's really hard, like with the pandemic, that we haven't been able to go back to them, and they haven't been able to come down. Like the lowered like restrictions for Canadians going to and from America ended like the day after Rhode Island Comic Con this past year. So that was a little tough. I've also done Star Wars Celebration. I guess that was 2019, I think. Which that year it was in Chicago, and so we did a bunch of the good stuff again. Had a lot of fun. Thankfully we had a friend to stay with, so we didn't have to pay for a hotel room. But that was in April, I think, if I'm remembering correctly, and it still snows in Chicago in April sometimes.
Sometimes.
Including the last day of Star Wars Celebration.
Hey.
So, and that Sunday morning, we're doing the 501st Legion photo, and they're doing it early in the morning, get it done, and then people can do whatever. And so we're doing it, and it's snowing and stuff like that. And I, at this point, after seeing them in person and in Celebration or in Orlando, I was like, I want to build a snow trooper. There's things I can do to make it really fit well for me. It looks fun. I live in New England. It snows in New England. It'll be worth it to have it and things like that. And everything I've seen with the Blizzard Force, which is the detachment for the snow troopers, seems like it's a really an extra good community. And I've already, at that point, I think I'd hit 100 troops with my scout, or I was getting close to it.
Wow.
So yeah. And so I wore my snow trooper and stuff like that. And because I was staying offsite, I took the bus in with my kit box, found a friend from the Last Jedi premiere who had a hotel room in sight to say, hey, can I change in your room? Like, oh yeah, sure, come on. And, it's like, Becky and her brother. And it's like, hey, like nothing had changed. Got in and stuff. So they were thankfully inside for the photo. Get it? But it's like there is it's definitely snow in the air, and it's starting to accumulate and stuff. And we get the Legion photo, and then the detachment leader of the Blizzard Force, a guy named Chris, who's a really fun guy and makes me look tiny, like he's taller than me, just kind of says, Blizzard Force, we're going outside. And I totally expected like one or two people, like maybe one of the Wampas, like, oh, I don't want to like trip on the stilts for my costume and hurt something. Or one person's like, oh, I have my costume weathered exactly how I wanted. I don't want to mess it up in the snow. None of that happened. I swear everyone like turned on a dime, like they had military training about like hard turn, made a beeline for outside, and we were getting photos in the snow. Like, and we showed up in like the kind of the sizzle reel for a celebration that Lucasfilm had made, like all these snow troopers in the snow looking awesome. We had so much fun. And I'm like, again, that has like a fleece duster, so that can get very warm, but it's like out in the snow, I'm great. And so like, okay, things disperse and everything, and I'm just kind of figuring out my next move. Moved my kit box with me while I'm in kit to kind of the club's changing areas that they had kind of tucked away in part of the convention center that wasn't being used, so people in the groups could change and stuff like that, which was really cool that we were able to do that. But I'm like, I still want to hang out, and I'm having fun in my snow trooper. I want to go do it. And another guy, I think a guy named Brad, was like, oh, hey, you want to hang out some more? Yeah, let's, because I'll backtrack a little bit to kind of the origin of the 501st, which was Albin Johnson creating a group with friends. The thing about like stormtrooper costumes especially is you see one person, oh, it's a stormtrooper. You see two people in stormtroopers, oh, that's neat. You start seeing three or more, and it's like, okay, something's going on, and I want to know what.
It's a cult.
Yeah. So we're at the. I mean, you're not half wrong.
I'm fine.
So we're wandering through, and then we're like, okay, we're gonna set up because the McCormick Convention Center was having like just kind of like bag checks just outside the convention center, and you kind of do the bag check under a tent, turn a corner, and then you're at the entrance to the convention center that they're filing everyone in. So Brad and I, in our snowtroopers, in the snow, as snow is flying in the air, set up right in front of those doors, just past the weapon check or the bag check, doing a lot of move along, move along, move along. And it was great because you would see people like just kind of like, oh God, thank God I'm done with bag check. Turn that corner, pause, see us, and just burst out laughing because it was like it just made the like fixed their mood. It was so nice, and just great. And again, Kate and our friends decided weren't going to be in the Legion photo. They didn't care. They were going to sleep in, which is fine. And so I'm looking at, doing the move along, and I see out of the corner of my eye, which is very little minimal vision with snowtrooper helmet because it's just two little eye holes, Kate, and I see her kind of do a tilted head and kind of that one of those. Is that mine? Yes, that's mine.
Yeah, damn it.
Are you okay? Are you cold? Have you had water recently? Yes. Okay, good. Go away. I'll catch you later.
Okay,
But I
bye.
mean, these are the moments that make conventions so much fun. It's just like little things like that, and like we're just doing this to make people laugh and have fun, and we got so many great reactions.
That's awesome. That's the best. Like, honestly, like that's my favorite thing that you guys do at conventions when I come see you guys. Like, it's one of those things where it's like you guys are there for charity and you're there to like take pictures of people and just like answer people's questions and things. But it's just like the little things that you guys do, like that, for example.
Yeah.
Like I remember when we went to Rhode Island Comic Con, met up with you guys, and that you guys had the garbage pit.
Yep.
And one of your friends was dressed up, and I mean, don't ask me who it was. I don't know who any of your Stormtrooper friends are, unfortunately. I wish I did. But you were just like, go ahead, say the thing. And he did it. He's like, the move along. I was like, well, he said it.
He said the thing, and that's the thing, especially like, I mean, there are people that are like, oh, well, we're representing a military organization. We should look serious and be serious all the time. Like, or we could have fun and make people have fun with Star Wars,
right? Or
and those are the like some of my best pictures of me in my kit. Are me just being an absolute goofball dressed up in the stuff because I forget who the first person I heard say this was, but it's one I said, like, at the end of the day, we're dressing up like white plastic space people. Like, that's the thing. It's plastic space people. I mean,
with really bad aim.
Yeah, and so it's like if you're taking yourself too seriously like that, I mean, there are times like maybe we're doing a serious appearance, like, but for the most part, it's like no, let's just have fun. People are just excited to see that. I will say one. I will save one other snowtrooper story, though, because this is another epic one, and it's again sort of almost a convention-like story, almost.
Mm-hmm.
And again, meeting other members of the 501st community from all over the world. So, 2020 was going to be the 40th anniversary of Empire Strikes Back.
Yep.
And a couple Blizzard Force members. I think there was going to be about 40 of us. We're all talking like we're going to go to Finse, Norway, which is where they filmed all the Hoth scenes. Stay in the little lodge there, where it's a kind of almost like a cross country ski lodge and stuff like that, where the cast and crew stayed, and there's like a couple other little things there. But it's like calling it a village would be a stretch. It is very tiny. But we're all going to do this. We're going to get some awesome pictures and stuff like that. And this will be really cool. And like, again, Chris, the detachment leader, then it's like, and I had talked with Kate, and it was one of those moments of, I'm not asking, can I go? I am saying, I am going. Are you coming with me?
Right. Are you coming or not?
Yeah. And then, that was in March 2020.
Mm.
Guess what part of March of 2020?
Let's see, Doug. If I remember this story correctly, and I think I do, you were sitting on a plane and they gave you a choice.
Yep. They
And
said
you chose wisely.
the travel ban went into effect as we were boarding the plane, but then it's like, well, okay, wait, American citizens are going to be allowed to come back. And well, we were going through the UK, and the UK the travel ban doesn't come to okay. And it's like, well, we're going to do this because we'll still manage to have fun, and we're going to a remote part of Norway. It'll be fine.
This is fine.
Fine. So we're about, I want to say, about an hour late getting off the ground from Boston because they gave people the choice of, here's what's going on. If you want to leave, you can,
Mhm.
but you got to let us know now so we can then go into the plane and get your bags out.
Right.
So that took a while and stuff. So we got to Gatwick Airport in London, and we just barely missed our connection, and it took a little while to get like a gate agent. So I was like, okay, well, there's another plane in like an hour. Okay, fine, cool, we'll get there.
Right.
Fly into Oslo, get there, crash in our hotel room, take a nap, then go downtown Oslo, which Oslo's a cool city. I want to get back to it. Like, I want to see more of it.
Right.
Um, and because a bunch of us are meeting up from, again, Blizzard Force people from all the world, meeting up at like a pizza place for dinner. On the way over there, we find an anime store, by the way.
Of course
Yep.
you did.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So we get there, meet the people, just a lot of great people, and there's like one member from Australia, there's another member from Japan, and at that point, start of the travel bans are having, so we're getting updates from people that like there was one couple, they were taking like a ferry over from Germany, and they literally could not get off the ferry and had to turn around. There's a couple people from Italy that couldn't leave the country because that's when the virus was really exploding in Italy. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
well, this sucks. We can't see these people, but we're still here. We're still gonna have a good time. We're gonna make the most of it. We'll figure it out. And so, okay, have dinner, go back to our hotel room, crash that night, and then we're like, okay, we're heading out on the train, and like we're in kind of the second wave. Like the first group left earlier in the day, and Kate and I aren't in the main hotel. We're in the kind of the other hotel that's not too far away. Short walk.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm getting Facebook messages from Chris. Um, the hostel where you guys are staying is closing. Let me figure out what else going on. I'll keep you posted. Okay. And then it was okay. Well, the other hotel has had people cancel, so there's free rooms, but then now they're saying unless you have a reservation, you can't stay.
Oh boy.
Oh, okay. And again, we are on the train, and this is like a 6-hour train ride. I want to say maybe not
Mm-hmm.
that, but it's a couple hours at least. Um, and then it's like, so, well, I'm like scrambling, like, well, is there at least a train back to Oslo tonight from Finse? Yes. Okay. Well, we're on that. That's 2 hours after we get into Finse. We'll be fine. Yeah. So the train was half an hour late getting into Finse. But there's like, well, what do you want to do? And talking to a couple of people, and they had heard like we were the only people still on the trip that weren't staying in the main hotel. It's like, well, we still want to do it. Well, we want to get pictures because Kate has a Hoth costume that she finished in time for that, and it's like, well, you guys got 90 minutes. Let's get you in to get you some awesome pictures of you in Norway, in Finse, and like looking over and stuff. I swear that kit was thrown on me more than I put it on. I have never seen a costume, or maybe even just my own regular, normal, everyday clothes faster. Like, I mean, because it's all snowtroopers, so they all like knew the costumes in and outs and everything, and like people are just throwing it on me, and it's like super windy and like I don't know how cold. It's the only time I've ever been cold in that costume. Getting awesome pictures, and other people are suiting up really quick so we can get some pictures together and everything. And then do that for an hour, then quickly change for half an hour, do another merch trade with the people that we didn't see at the pizza party the night before, and then get thrown on the train back to Oslo. So we made it for 90 minutes, but we made it.
Right.
And they had their own adventures getting back, because Norway was closing and stuff like that. So we ended up having to spend a day in Oslo and saw some neat stuff. A lot of places were closed, and a lot of places were like, please come back. We don't want this to be your only impression of Norway. Very friendly and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Norway was closing, so we had to leave like 2 days or a day earlier than we meant to.
You almost got stuck on Hoth.
We did not get stuck on Hoth.
You almost did.
We almost did, but then we wound up in London, because that was where we like got a it was like a day ahead of our flight back, because we could change our flight from Norway back to London, but not our flight back from London back to Boston.
Oh,
and so like, well, okay, cool. So we did some fun stuff in London, and just kind of as the world's breaking. We got like a super late flight out of Norway into London, and so like we got to our hotel, I want to say, like, because I thankfully like was able to get like a last minute really good deal hotel in London. I want to say it was like 2 a.m. London time, which I think was like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Norway time. So we were like exhausted.
yeah.
Crash, spend a day in London, do some neat stuff, spend another half day before our flight back. And like our flight back from London to Boston, like we're seeing some of the same people on our flight from when we left. Kind of, hey, how was your crazy adventure? Here's what we did. And it's like, and I just remember like that flight was so empty, because like they were like, I think it was Norwegian Air was like closing down after that. And it's like I had a row to myself. And when I say a row, I don't mean like a section of seats. I mean a full like length of the width of the airplane.
Sweet.
To myself. It was that empty.
Wow.
And, yeah. So Kate and I were like, I love you, but you know what? We're getting our own space. You're like, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to be on this side of the plane. I'll see you later.
Pretty much. But again, like that whole group, like everyone was connecting to each other, and like we had like Facebook chats going all over the place, and everyone's like, okay, please everyone check in when you get home, because we're all taking weird ways home. Everyone's like, if anybody gets stuck anywhere, okay, you guys are going through London. I know this person in the UK garrison. If you get stuck, let me know. I'll get in touch with them. You're going through here. I know a person here. If anyone gets stuck in Norway, we're in the Nordic garrison. We've got a spare guest room.
See, and that's why the 501st, it's so good that they have everybody on every continent.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah, everyone was just so taking care of each other. And again, like we still share stories about stuff like that. And like, it's I hate to use the word brotherhood, because it's, all genders, but it is that camaraderie, and everyone takes care of each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you see a lot of that through conventions, as people like everyone helps put together a booth, or hey, we're raising money for this charity at the convention. I'll do an extra shift in my kit while we do Blaster Trooper, which is someone shoots, they give people a Nerf gun, and they can shoot the little suction cup darts at people in armor, because those stick really well to Stormtrooper armor. So it's really fun. Or like, okay, hey, let's, hey, so-and-so's been doing this for 3 hours and he only needed to do an hour shift. Let's make sure he takes a break, gets some water, and let's get someone else in there, and just watch out for each other. So I really enjoy a lot of stuff like that.
Awesome. Doug, this has been wonderful. I've been waiting for this episode for so long. You know that.
Yep.
Star Wars! Is there anything you'd like to promote while you're here?
I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to actually tell people that I know you and I are both on staff for Anime Boston.
Yes, sir.
Anime Boston needs some more staff members. Some people haven't come back this year, either a little concern of the pandemic, or just life has happened. Like some people had had babies and stuff because they couldn't keep 6 feet apart.
And they didn't have
Um,
anything to do because they weren't at a convention, so children was the option.
yep. So we have a lot of different positions open. If you're curious about it, there's ways to contact the people in charge of those positions,
Mm-hmm.
learn a little bit more about it. There's some great entry level ones. I have made some of the best friends of my life through staffing Anime Boston, present company included.
Yo!
And the thing I will say about staffing a convention is it is a lot of hard work. There are times where you'll be very busy,
Mm-hmm.
but if you can handle it, you will always have you will have a different kind of fun.
It is very rewarding.
Mm-hmm.
It
So
is the most fun.
if you're curious about it, I would say this might be a good year to check it out, and don't be afraid to ask questions because we're happy to tell you what the roles are like.
Yeah, 100%.
And so if you're over 18 and thinking about it, yeah, as long as you're over 18 by the time the conventions roll around, you'll be good. Make sure you sign on up. Ask questions, and make sure you have a forum account if you're going to sign up too.
Yeah. Sweet. Awesome. Thank you so much, Doug. You already know how much I appreciate you coming on tonight.
It is always my pleasure, and I am happy to do it anytime.
Excellent. Guys, thank you so much. If you want to be on the show, please don't hesitate to message us or comment on things. I would love to listen to your stories. I love having people on here. I love having conversations about different convention experiences. I'm still peddling a book on the Amazon.
I hope I get it for my birthday, speaking of that.
You will get one for your birthday. I've already decided I'm sending you one, so stay tuned. That could have gone worse. That could have gone worse. Life Lessons from a Dinosaur Cosplayer is available now. Feel free to go purchase that. Doug, again, thank you so much. Guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next time. Have a good night.